is being sponsored by Quaker State Motor.
And Prairie, Texas. The senior citizens, so to speak, the veterans of this field of five, 50-year-old Teats Semiz and 43-year-old Mike Durbin with 13 titles, Semiz with 3. First match, the winner moves up. Well, the loser goes home with a sizable check. Here's Durbin, first shot. Well done. Three-time winner of the Firestone Tournament of Champions. Father of 3 as you look at the first breakdown. 27 grand, 14 for second, 8 6,500, and 5,500 for the loser of this first match. Now, Mike Durbin's opponent, Teats Semiz, 50 years old, from Cedar Grove, New Jersey. Man with a lot of pride, Bo, that despite his age, very fit, and bowling as great as he did many, many years ago.
The 5-step delivery of Teats Semiz, as you said, Chris, bowling as well as ever. You see the perfect form, his left arm out balancing his right shoulder, good extension, good follow through, and an ideal hit. One of the reasons Teats always stayed in such good shape is in his youth, Chris, he was a construction worker and built some powerful muscles, which he's taken good care of.
And the 25-year member of the Professional Bowlers Association has to face this horrible, horrible split, Bo.
Slides right by the head pin, leaving the 1, 2, 4, 10 washout. Chris, recall last year we had 19 open frames in the championship round here at Forum Bowl. I hope we don't see that again this week. Good shot. Ooh.
Going all out. Very appreciative, standing room only crowd here at the Forum. Look at the inflationary nature. Look at this since 1960, Bo.
Don Carter, that's 7 events on the tour. Then Mike McGrath in 70, 52,000. Wayne Webb, 116. And Mark Roth, 158,000. The tour is growing thanks to the fans and the sponsors.
Mike Durbin now has come up with the 6, 7, 10. So early, we're getting problems for both pros.
Durbin right through the heart. Doesn't get a good break on the 7-pin, leaves the 6, 7, 10 split. Odds 5-1 for the pros. He'll go for it.
And Mike standing at the line as the wobbly 7-pin refused to go down. So back-to-back open frames, 1 for each. And Mike will go over to the left side of this championship pair and try to come back.
The 6-pin bounced out of the pin deck area and almost knocked over the 7-pin. We saw it rocking. A point of information, a bowling pin to be illegal has to fall over when it tilts 9 degrees off his axis. That pin didn't quite tilt 9 degrees off his axis, as you see the semi-fingertip grip of Mike Durbin.
Another example of one of the reasons why Mike was voted into the PBA Hall of Fame last April, 43 years of age. Now, Teats Semiz of New Jersey, league bowler at Frank Esposito's Paramus Lanes for years and years, still does it.
The center we shoot the bowling tips in.
A high hit gets away by leaving only 1 pin, the 3.
Teats Semiz bowled on the tour for almost 30 years off and on, and runs a pro shop business in New Jersey area. And right now he's out here. He says that money is just too good on the winter tour, and he's still such an excellent player at age 50. He says he wants his piece of the pie. So the PBA seniors. He is the father of Lori, 25, and Tommy, 19, and expects to be a father in March. One more time. Nelson, I must wish you and Sissy well. You're expectant parents. In May of this year.
Aha. A strike, an open, a spare, and now a strike in the 4th frame, 2-part wide world of sports immediately following the Professional Bowlers Tour. There are the pins and the man that wants to knock him down now with a strike working. In the fourth frame, Mike Durbin. Leads by 2 and increase it to 12.
Same sticky 7-pin that he almost knocked over when he shot for the split in the second frame, Chris. As you see, the just textbook form of Mike Durbin. Good extension, 4-step delivery. Watch his left side. Look at that left arm. See it parallel with the right shoulder. And good follow through, good extension. Just not a good break on the 7-pin. Easy spare.
Okay. Mike Durbin, Twin Falls, Ohio. Father of 3. And no, he did not break his right arm. Some devices on it, Bo. You might explain it.
Well, Chris, the players basically are paid a fee to wear them on television. Now, some players wear them all during the week, but I think by and large, the large amount of players just wear them for the commercial endorsement on television. Whether they help or not any particular player, that's up to that individual's style.
Okay, on the left lane now. 5th frame, first match. High hit, leaving the 6-10. The winner of this first game will meet the man to whom Bo spoke earlier, Marshall Holman.
Once again, right up through the heart, as Mike Durbin has been high on the left lane in the first frame. He crossed over for a strike, hit it solid in the pocket in the third, and once again in the nose, gets an easy spare, the 6-10. Keep the speed up, no hook.
And the believer of health food, Mike Durbin, marking with a spare.
Here's the 2 lines the players are playing. Teats Semiz is playing the track area between the 2nd and 3rd arrow down into the pocket. This is Semiz here. And then over here, Durbin is playing the 1st arrow outside the track. So there's 2 ways to skin the cat out there. I believe that Semiz has the best line between the 2nd and 3rd arrows.
Oh, he wanted that double, leaving the 7-pin in this even match. He really put everything into that shot.
The solid 7. As you see Teats Semiz, that 5-step power delivery as he drives through. Look at the knee bend, good and solid. Now watch his slide into the foul line. Foot perpendicular to the foul line, about 3 inches behind it. He left the solid 7, which would have given him the lead. A conversion here, and the match will be all even through 5.
Teats Semiz, who's bowled with all the great champions. And I checked with him earlier, and he was commenting that his all-time hero was Don Carter, because Don took him aside way back and taught him squareness, not dipping the shoulder, and many of the things he carries through to this day, Bo.
Well, Chris, good style will last a lifetime, as you see the contrasting faces of there, Mike Durbin, and here the studious, cerebral player, Teats Semiz.
And he'll be faced with the 10-pin here in the 6th frame of our first match.
You see the line of Teats Semiz. We said right in the track area, the worn area down the right side. He's directly between the 2nd and 3rd arrows, leaves the soft 10 as you see the 6 lay down the channel. Here it is again. This is not the solid 10. When you see the 6 lay down in the channel instead of fly around the 10-pin, you can rest assured the ball was not quite solid in the pocket.
Cheetah, 5'11", 175 pounds. Like this field of 5, just tremendous athletes. Very much conditioned professional bowlers. Mike here, his life. It's quite a guy. 3 Firestone victories. Got a spare working, shooting in the 6th frame. Well, he almost knocked him out of the house, Bo. Talk about athletes, huh?
Could have knocked over 4-pound pins with that shot, Chris. We're using 3-pound 6-ounce and 3-pound 7-ounce pins this week, a little heavier than we used last week at the Showboat. And Durbin, with that strike, maintains a 1-pin lead. He can extend that lead to 11 with a double here in the 7th frame.
11th year that we've come to the Forum and the 9th year for the Quaker State Open.
Durbin with that grip. See what we call the stretch semi-fingertip grip. His hand is in a very comfortable position in the ball, but not stretched way out.
Trying to increase his 1-pin lead. He leaves a single old pin. The 6.
The characteristic of the championship pair, 39 and 40 here at Forum Lanes, is coming out in this match. The left-hand lane, because of more wear on the lane, hooks a little bit more in the right-hand lane. That's the lane Durbin is having the trouble with. The left-hand lane, easy spare.
After 42 games, we're down to the years old. He's from Oregon. He's colorful, and he will meet the winner of our first match, Marshall Holman. 17 titles.
2 of those championships coming right here, Chris.
Yes. Mike looking away, concentrating, meditating. Meanwhile, Teats Semiz has a spare in the 6th, now shooting in the 7th. Trails by 1. Second washout, Bo.
Just lost the ball at the bottom of his swing as the ball slides by the head pin, leaving the 1, 2, 4, 10 washout. He left that same washout on the left-hand lane in the 2nd frame. He went by the head pin. What he needs to do is take that head pin and drive it over into the 10, let the ball take out the 2 and the 4.
Now Tita with 2 open frames here in the first match. And now trails by 16 pins.
Chris, we really had tough scoring here in 1984. Once again in 85, we see Semiz going at a 170 rate, Durbin a 186 rate, and Durbin has really had some good breaks. He got a strike on a crossover and has broken down 2 splits. These matches could be very tough and very low scoring today.
And again, you see their great concentration, ability to come back.
Semiz with that inside or medium inside line on the left-hand lane sends the 2-pin to the sideboard. It trips out the 4, and he stays in the match. For Durbin, Durbin is in good shape on the right-hand lane, as you once again see that trip 4 on the left. The key for Durbin is to maintain his strike line on this right-hand lane as he diligently sets his feet, works on his concentration, and then work on getting 1 strike on the left-hand lane.
5 finals last year, winning once. But the man with 13 championships in the PBA strikes in the 8th frame of our first match.
This is the biggest frame of the whole match for both players. Durbin with a 16-pin lead can really put Semiz on the ropes. He can't shut him out, but he can put him on the ropes. Semiz, if Durbin doesn't strike or would happen to open, would have a chance to take the lead in the 9th frame. Pivotal frame. Durbin blowing in that thumb hole to keep that thumb nice and dry.
Notice how carefully he set himself on the approach. Another trademark. Four pin on that left lane of this championship pair here at the Forum in Grand Prairie, Texas. City now that has grown to 90,000. When we first came here, it seemed like it was only a village.
Well, they had 90,000, but they were all cattle at that time, Chris.
Between Dallas and Fort Worth, the Metroplex of 3.1 million. Durbin now marking with a spare in the 9th frame, still leading by 16, but Semiz now, though you talked pivotal, strike here could cut the lead to 6. The bucket.
The right-hand lane being the tight lane. Semiz sends it wide. You heard him yell hook. 2, 4, 5, 8. The bucket has to make this spare to stay in the match. If he makes this spare and throws 2 strikes in the 10th, he'll cut Durbin's lead down to 6 pins, and it could still have a close or even a tie.
Very good job marking with that spare. Teats Semiz, New Jersey. 50 years old. Looking at the overhead scoring device.
Has to stay up for this frame. Now, if he throws a double here in the 10th and 11th frame, he'll force Durbin to mark. It's not over yet. As we see, there's been a lot open so far. He's got the first one.
All right. The winner of this first match will meet Marshall Holman, then Walter Ray Williams, and then Tulsa's Mike Edwards. 5 of them trying for the $27,000 first prize here in the Quaker State Open.
Durbin just concentrating on his game. He knows that he just needs at least a mark to win. If Semiz does not strike on this ball, it's going to be Durbin and Holman. If he strikes, it's not over yet.
Hit it.
High hit, and it's the 3-pin. But we'll see more of Tita, and of course more of this man, Mike Durbin.
Durbin checking the scoreboard. Durbin going at a 186 pace. The best Tita can bowl is 170. Durbin just has to stay behind the foul line. He'll meet Marshall Holman.
And an appreciative crowd here at the Forum. The applause for Teats Semiz. There you see that Mike Durbin has won the first match. We'll have the final score. Semiz with a 170. So it'll be Durbin and Holman, a winner of 13 titles, has won his first match 185 to 170 over Teats Semiz with 5 strikes. So here we go. Colorful. Marshall Holman on the right is Mike's opponent in our second head-to-head battle for the $27,000 first prize. Holman will shoot first, and he'll clean that gleaming bowling ball. Soles of his shoes. Got a lot of little mannerisms, Nelson.
Well, he's wiping the oil off the ball, Chris, making sure the shoes are clean, and he really likes this championship here. He's won 2 titles here and finished second once before.
All right. White shoot Marshall Holman with a sore right thumb. Just keeps bowling away.
True contrast in styles. You have Durbin from the old school, the down and in straight ball player, and you have the modern contemporary game of Marshall Holman. Crank the ball up and make those pins fly. The outcome of this match just 10 frames away. It should be a good one.
So Mike keeps it even. The man who has had a best finish here of 10th. He would like to better that, and of course he will today, but he'd like to be #1. Holman has won 4 tournaments in Texas, 2 right here at the Forum. Re-rack we have. Bo, how many are you allowed?
In the tournament competition, Chris, for the 42 games, the 18 of qualifying and the 24-game match play, a player is allowed 5 re-racks in a game. In the championship round here, he is allowed 3, and then Harry Gold, the tournament director, would have to grant a 4th.
All right. All right. Set him up properly and lay it in the pocket. And here's where we are coming up.
The beginning of the Light Beer Slam. Next week, $1 million if somebody wins all 3. Then we go to the U.S. Open, where Rafi Carrion tells me they have a $3,000 first prize in the Pro-Am there next Sunday. Then we're on to St. Louis and up to the True Value, where the tournament is being held in Peoria, Chris. And if someone rolls a 300 in that tournament, $200,000 bonus. Remember, Marshall had a shot at $100,000 last week.
Thanks to True Value, and well, he was really off balance, wasn't he?
Chris, second or third time I've seen him do that this week. Remember, he had such a sore thumb last week, and as he pushes the ball away, the pressure hits down on his thumb, and it kind of paralyzes him or shoots what he calls an electric shock up his hand. You see him just stop. You see that the ball reaches the apex of the swing. He stopped as his wrist caught. He says it doesn't bother him every shot, but every once in a while he gets it in a funny position. Every time I noticed that he stopped during the week, he came back with a strike.
See that ball break at the last moment, and unfortunately a 4-6-7-10 for Marshall Holman.
Ball cuts right through the heart. Holman just put too much on it. He quickly goes to get 2 pins.
Tough break for Marshall, who has just been on television a lot over the past few years. Like to win a little more than he has.
At one time in 1973, Marshall Holman, in 15 appearances in the championship round, won 1 match, lost 15, and averaged a dismal 199. 1984, he turned that around with some pretty good performances.
Another high hit, 610. TV finals last year 9 times and won only once.
The line of Marshall Holman between the 2nd and 3rd arrows, out to almost where Durbin's playing, and the big snap on the back end for the maximum power, but he's up high again. Avoids the split, has the 610 spare.
Marshall Holman against Mike Durbin. Here's a good chance for me to thank Tim Brandt, Bo, filling in last week while I was in England doing a fight. Great champion from nearby Fort Worth, Donald Curry.
Curry did a fight, had the fight last week, Chris, and remember we had little Stevie Cruz was in a fight a week before the Grand Prairie tournament last year, and Tim Grant said he had a great time filling in for you. Did a great job.
Well, everybody enjoys this show. And this man has been one of our staples for a long time, Mike Durbin, a member of the PBA. 18 years, been president of the organization, 13 titles.
What a difference it makes when you've got 1 win under your belt. The championship round format leaves a person in the position of being a sprint runner on Saturday. They bowled 42 games to get to this position. Then they're all up against a 1-game match. Durbin's already got 1 victory under his belt. That makes such a tremendous difference on being lined up or knowing exactly what kind of shot to throw on each lane, plus being relaxed and confident.
And Mike is doing a good average on this pair throughout week 224. And now he has a 4-bagger and a 44-pin lead. Please consider this bowling fact. Sir Francis Drake refused to resist the Spanish Armada until he had finished his game of bowl.
Well, Chris, Marshall Holman's waiting for something that we haven't been informed to on the side.
Well, some folks decided perhaps they needed to make a pit stop, and the movement upset this champion. Rightfully so.
Needs to get going. Trails by 44.
Left a 10-pin.
The great style of Marshall Holman, we've seen it so many times. 5-step delivery, very low profile, shoulders level, head steady, hand behind the ball, good wrist action, good follow through, and gets that ball in the pocket but leaves the 10.
17 titles for this 30-year-old from now Jacksonville, Oregon.
Marshall Holman, his father was a DJ, Chris, and during the famous years of pole sitting, he was a pole sitter and did his radio show from on a pole, and hence the name Holman the Poleman. And I think Marshall's easy enough to say is Holman the Bowlman. So runs in the family.
And in bowling, this man has been a pole sitter in the high averages. 2 out of the last 3 years has been the leader. Last year, 213.9.
The messenger shot. Holman with that power drives the head pin to the sideboard and comes all the way back and wipes out the 10. Not the type of shot you'll see from Mike Durbin. Durbin, the precision player. Once he gets zeroed on a championship pair or any pair, he can just sit there. He'll split his target almost every single time as he tries to keep that ball in the pocket. See those little arrows pointing Durbin in a precision manner down the approach. He lines up exactly on each board. 4-step delivery, going for 5 in a row.
String stop, leaving the 6-10.
Right through the heart. Avoids the split and gets the 6-10 spare. The same spare that Holman had on this lane on the left-hand lane in the 3rd frame.
Mike in his rookie year won 2 titles. And believe me, that's really difficult out here because now, midweek, you have to face 159 other pros. And they're all good.
Three players, I guess, because of the money. I think that's probably the primary reason, plus the chance to travel. And those two victories in 1967 by Durbin his rookie year, he is the only player to have won 2 in his rookie year.
But in 12 PBA membership years, his opponent has won 17 titles, Holman. Mike with 13. Oh, that little Durbin dance step there at the end.
Unexpected pin action from Mike Durbin. He hits light and just rips the pins open. When he can carry that hit and still keep the ball solid as he usually does, he's going to deal a lot of trouble to his opponents today. Holman, with his back to the wall, needs to throw this double to cut Durbin's lead to 33.
Came dangerously close to the channel, did that shot, for Marshall anyway.
Marshall Holman quickly grabbing another ball like he's just trying to get it over with. We saw Teats Semiz leave the washout twice. He missed it on the left and the right. Let's see what Holman does.
And Marshall, great character that he is, didn't even look around to see it all happen.
You want to see a great break? Watch the head pin. It'll disappear. It never hit the 10. Here it comes out of the pit. It's still in play as long as it hasn't.
Now he's looking on a replay of the many monitors set up here by our talented ABC engineers. Marshall approved. The beauty of a replay.
Well, you never know how a great break like that can turn a match around. Holman would have been trailing by 55. Now it's just 43. He's got 4 frames left.
There's one. Can he string them? Running behind a little bit here from Grand Prairie, Texas. We're going to leave live action for the moment, but we'll bring you up to date when we're away in the 7th frame. Mike Durbin leading by 43 left the 10 pin. Easily made his spare. He's bowling Marshall Holman. Mike winning the first game over Teats Semiz, 185 to 170. The winner of this game will meet the world champion horseshoe pitcher, Walter Ray Williams, Jr. Textbook, picture book, Mike Durbin. Bo's tip this week, tip of the week, is for the advanced bowler.
Good tip on how to get more strikes when you really need them. Holman needs them right now. He must strike right here. Big shot or he's out of the match. He's in.
But I should point out that if you're one of the 69 million people in America that bowl at least once a year, you'll enjoy the tip too, and it will help you.
For Holman, it's a must-strike situation all the way. If he strikes here in the 9th frame, throwing 3 in a row, he'll cut Durbin's lead down to just 23 pins. Holman, a possible 225 game. Durbin going at a 228 pace.
Disappointing 4-pin. Wide World of Sports follows the Professional Bowlers Tour as it does every week and has for all these years. And look at the main event today, the Ironman Triathlon. Bo, you could have been a great competitor in that because you can swim, you can run, you can ride a bike, and you could do 140 miles in one day as they do.
I could do the 140 miles only in a car, Chris. I could do the other 3 in a little shorter period. But the triathlon, the original triathlon, really considered the most important triathlon.
And I
coming up.
Want to hear from Doug Flutie, too, on signing as a pro player. Well, when you've got it going for you, 44-pin lead, and that double with the last strike coming in the 9th frame. So this may be Mike's day.
Mike, 2 matches well in hand. He's going to meet Walter Ray Williams, Deadeye I call him, the former world's champion horseshoe pitching player. Durbin a possible 258, just rolling right over Holman. There, it's all over right now.
increased his lead to 54. He is the winner, and he goes against another fine athlete, Walter Ray Williams. We'll be back. Mike Durbin of Chagrin Falls, Ohio, has won the both, 185 to 170.
Today, Nelson Burton Jr. explains to advanced bowlers how to adjust your arm swing to suit the lane conditions on the Professional Bowler's Tip of the Week. Today's tip is sponsored by Old Spice Stick Deodorant, 24 hours strong.
Today's bowling tip of the week is for the advanced bowler. How to adjust your arm swing to the various lane conditions. On a lane condition that is very slick and the ball's not hooking very much, or a lane condition where you may only have one board to hit the pocket, you want to make your arm swing shorter to maximize your accuracy and get that ball into the 1-3 pocket and not always be in trouble. Now the way to do this is hold the ball lower in the push-away zone, down here below the waist, and then shorten that backswing, allowing for maximum accuracy. That way the ball can go through on that slick lane, go through the natural transition of skid, transition, and grip into the 1-3 pocket. Now the opposite is true on one of those days when you're red hot or you have 4 or 5 boards to hit to get the ball in the 1-3 pocket. Just as a baseball pitcher, when he's pitching a no-hitter and he's red hot, he just rears back and rips it. The same way in the game of bowling. Now the way to maximize your scoring when you're having a hot day is to hold the ball higher in the push-away zone, up here by the shoulders. That gives you a longer arc, a higher backswing, and it allows you to come through at the bottom of the swing with maximum wrist action. Remember, when you're having a real good day, when you have 4 or 5 boards to hit, let yourself go. Get that arm swing up there high, let that wrist roll right through, and just rip it. Have a good time.
Bumper to bumper at 200 miles an hour on a hot track from morning till night. You'll find out just how strong your deodorant is. I'm Cale Yarborough. I drive race cars. This is my deodorant, Old Spice Stick. Hey, Old Spice isn't just strong, it's 24 hours strong. Old Spice Stick is the only leading deodorant that says it right on the label. You want a deodorant that lasts longer than you do, this is the one.
Now Old Spice Stick also comes in a new fresh scent.
In the case of one man here at the Forum, bowling and horseshoes do go hand in hand.
Walter Ray Williams, the man on the left, former world's champion horseshoe player, Chris, and that little horseshoe carrying pouch you saw at the opening there, he carries the horseshoes in with it and carries the money back out with it. He is tough on and off the lanes. Going another against a very tough competitor, 3-time Firestone champion, Mike Durbin. He's got two wins under his belt.
Twice PBA president. And there he goes. He had 8 strikes in his last match, shooting a .247. Okay, now we concentrate on 25-year-old Walter Ray Williams, Jr., 25 years old, Chino, California, 6'2", 165. Boy, he tucks that right elbow into his body. And from a 2-pound, 10-ounce horseshoe, he adjusts nicely with a 16-pound bowling ball, Nelson.
5-step delivery, he really attacks, Chris, and he has changed his style quite a bit in the last week. He has gone to a much harder throwing ball. As you see him just snap through that. He's like a wild stallion up at the foul line, Chris. He's got tremendous natural ability, tremendous desire, a great match game player. He's going to give Durbin some trouble.
Four pin for Walter Ray Williams.
Walter Ray playing the same line that Durbin is, that extreme outside line over the first arrow, just throwing the ball very hard to keep it on line, to keep it from hooking high and avoiding the problems that Holman had in his match. Leaves the 4-pin. A spare will be all even.
All right. Walter averaging 225 on this pair. Mike Durbin, 224. Mike with 2 victories, one over Semiz, another one over Marshall Holman. This Hall of Famer now. hoping to double, shooting in the second frame. A double.
Durbin with excellent pin action, using that outside line, that ball rotating, and watch the action of the head pin as it goes to the left sideboard, takes out the 2, 4, 5, 7, and 8. A great break for Durbin as he jumps on top quickly as he did in the last match against Holman. As you recall, he was ahead by 43 pins through 3 frames. He can open up a 20-pin lead with another strike here in the third.
Durbin zeroed in today, 43-year-older. Got a 3-bagger. And Walter Ray Williams, his opponent here in the semifinal prior to the final game. Opened with a strike, marked with a spare. Now he's shooting in the third frame. High hit. 310 for Williams.
Williams just rushes the line and cuts right through the heart, leaves the 310 split, picks up another ball off the ball return rack, and he's studying it right now. He's taking a ball that will not hook as much as his original strike ball, hoping to slide the ball between the 3 and 10 pins and convert the spare.
Look at that. I like his style. Very colorful young man.
Ideal shot. Ball into the 3-pin. Ball deflects into the 10. Walter Ray switching to his urethane bowling ball for his strike shot. Playing that extreme outside line fingertip grip. If he strikes here, he'll be trailing by 22.
Hey! Oh, he liked it. All right, we're in our third match. Walter Ray Williams against Mike Durbin, trying for his third consecutive win from his 40-year sleep.
By the sound of bowling balls and crashing pins. He wasn't sleeping at Forum Lanes right now. It's quiet in here except for the action of Mike Durbin, who has 3 in a row, a 22-pin lead, going for 4 in a row.
Very quietly he goes about his job. 2 victories. 185, 170 over Semiz, 247, 191 over Holman. He's strung 4. Look at him stringing out there on the bicycles. That's just one of 3-part competition that happens in one day, a total of 140 miles on a bicycle, swimming, and running.
There's some conjecture on which sport is the most difficult in the triathlon, Chris. I think from my experience, swimming is the most difficult when you're tired because you can't stop. When you die in the water, you just die. You don't move. You can keep running. But the swimming being first doesn't mean a whole lot because, as you recall last year, the man who was leading the swimming, 10 minutes, 15 minutes later, he's bound to 3rd place. So it's mostly the legs.
He's got 5 in a row. He had 8 strikes in his last victory, Mike Durbin. And it puts pressure on an opponent like Walter Ray Williams. 2 world championships pitching horseshoes. Looking for his first PBA victory. He's had a good start this year. Hey! He has a wireless RF microphone, so he'll talk to the pins.
His reaction, he knows it's a good shot. He must strike here to stay close to Durbin. 1983, when Walter Ray was bowling in the St. Louis tournament, he cashed, flew down to Houston, won the Horseshoe tournament, Chris, then flew back to the True Value Open up in Peoria and finished in the top 5 in that tournament. A man who can do it both.
Back up.
High hit leaving the 4-7. Walter told me, Nelson, the most money he's ever won, even as a world champion, $300 in horseshoes.
He's going to win a lot more than that in bowling today as his ball cuts high, leaving the 4-7 spare. He was almost in a must situation. If he converts here, he'll trail by 34 pins. Durbin is red hot. Oh!
Blew it.
And all the years, Chris, we have done this together, I have never seen the 4 chopped off the 7.
Nope.
Watch this. It's only a 64th of an inch between those 2 pins, and the ball breaking into the pin should make up that 64th of an inch, and he chopped it off.
And it proves that close only counts in horseshoes and lovemaking.
All right. Right now, Durbin in the driver's seat. 46 pins can extend to 56.
He is halfway. If he can get 6 more, True Value Hardware, our sponsor in Peoria, will be coming up with a $100,000 check. There it is, Mike Durbin, the prettiest sight in all of bowling. A lot of kisses, 6 of them, right there.
The 2 big incentives in professional bowling. $100,000 for a perfect game on television and $1 million to anybody who can win the 3 light tournaments this winter. Durbin going for the $100,000.
Count 'em, 7 in a row here in Grand Prairie, Texas. And a couple of pals of mine I know are really up watching this, Byron Nelson and his lady Louise.
And you were visiting them this week?
Yes, sure was. Stewart and Ward Hunt took me out there to see my 2 favorite people.
Let down to Walter A. He's just about out of the match, Chris. Mike Durbin over on the side tying his shoes. He went over to get a drink of water to relax. And he's a very calculated player. I don't think the pressure of the perfect game has hit him yet. He's got this match won, though.
All right, colorful Walter Ray Williams up against a buzzsaw today in bowling and Mike Durbin. You know who's really colorful? As a college football quarterback, Bo, Doug Flutie has this great ability to communicate off the field as well. Great interview, and he will be exclusively interviewed on ABC's Wide World of Sports following our show. Doug Flutie.
Chris, didn't you tell me for that Doug Flutie interview on Wide World of Sports that they brought him there to the interview in a Brinks truck, you said?
A Brinks truck, right. Right. Well, we might need a Brinks truck for Mike Durbin because he has strung 7. He needs 5 more to get an added $100 grand. Ooh, would I be happy to present that to him, Nelson. Whew. Excitement when my colleague in 4 games averaged 262. Bo, I'll never forget that. You set the record. You remember it, I know that.
The Angle Open in St. Louis will be there in 3 weeks, but the pressure's a little different here for Durbin. 8 consecutive strikes, a potential $100,000. Here's where the pressure really starts to mount. This is where a player starts to feel that I can do it. That's when it gets the toughest.
9th frame. And then there was 3 to go. 3. Well, there isn't much an opponent can do, Nelson, when you've had 9 thrown at you.
Walter Ray just trying to get out of Durbin's way, as Durbin, as you recall, shot a 185 game, which was enough to win the first match, although he didn't even have a double, Chris. He's got 9 in a row now.
And the lips are getting dry. Exhale a few more times, Michael.
Deadeye Walter Ray Williams. He'll be back another day to pitch him. Possible 204 if he can strike out.
And waiting in the wings is another non-winner, Tulsa's finest, 23-year-old Mike Edwards, the tournament leader, who will meet Durbin. Walter Ray Williams of Chino, California. So it's a 191 for the loser, but a check for $8,000 to Walter Ray Williams.
There have been 3 perfect games on ABC. The first one in 1967 by Jack Biondelil. Then Johnny Gunther did it in San Jose, California. The last by Jim Stepnich, 1974. Durbin, it's been over 10 years since anybody's done it. $100,000 for 3 more strikes.
Right lane. And like last week, the string ends at 9. It was Marshall Holman a week ago. Mike Durbin being congratulated by Walter Ray Williams, applauded by the crowd, and the pressure.
Same thing that happened to Holman, the 4-pin. You have a tendency to pinch it a little high. I don't care how cold-blooded you are or how steel those nerves are.
Mike Durbin winning his 3rd match. It means he goes into the final against a non-. Here he was going for his 10th strike in a row. Mike Durbin of Chagrin Falls.
You see him just inside the first arrow. The ball tries to hold. Now watch the action of the 2-pin. It goes to the sideboard. He gets caught up with the 7, leaves the 4, and a disappointed man. $100,000 down the drain.
But he shot a 279 in defeating Walter Ray Williams, who shot a 191. So now it'll be Durbin going against Mike Edwards. Great match. Don't get one. And now Mike Edwards, proud of his Native American heritage, and so are we. This is what he told Bo earlier. 2 years college in Tulsa, architecture, and he's building himself quite a career here in bowling too, Bo. Tournament leader for 4 rounds. Leaving the 6th 10.
Well, he's come up against the same fate that Durbin's 3 other opponents have come about. They are a little nervous at the start, and they give Durbin a big opening. Durbin has put them away in the first 3 or 4 frames. Let's see if Mike Edwards can stay close until at least the 3rd frame. Then he can open up.
So it's a spare for 23-year-old Mike Edwards of Tulsa, Oklahoma. And it appears the USFL, that Heisman Trophy winner from Boston College. Exclusive interview. This guy's been exclusive today, has won all 3 matches. Mike Durbin. Leaves a 10-pin. It'll take a little pressure off him too, won't it?
Well, Durbin doesn't have to think about the perfect game, and sometimes a tremendous effort like he had in his semifinal match will take something out of him. But Durbin is a very strong young man, and he's in good physical condition. 4 games on national television will not bother him a bit. He's thinking about that top prize of $27,000.
Right. So now we are all even after 1 frame in our Quaker State Championship match. Head-to-head, the winner $27,000, the runner-up $14,000.
Durbin, who drives a motorhome on the Professional Bowlers Tour, has 3 children, one of them in college, and I'm sure with today's college tuitions he can use that top prize. So, although he makes almost every year over $100,000 out here on the tour, one of the top players to ever come down the pipeline.
Last year earned $87,000. Mike Edwards, who is yet to win, last year won $40,000. Another of the Durbin strikes. He had 5 in his first match, 8 in his second, 10 in his 3rd. And Mike Edwards here, the tournament leader, looking for his first strike. Marked with a spare in the first, now shooting in the second. just didn't come up, leaving the 2.
The style of Mike Edwards, a good young player. 5-step delivery, stays low on the profile. Look at his wrist cocked on the backswing. Good shoulder level swing. Inside out follow through. Good shot. He's just a little too far inside on this lane. If he makes the adjustment to the right, he'll be in business.
Mike averaged, get this, 221.9 for 42 games coming in to this one-game match.
Led for the last 4 rounds of the tournament. He was in 7th after the first round, 2nd after the 2nd round, then took the lead in the 3rd round of qualifying. In the top 24-round match play on Thursday and Friday, he maintained a commanding lead, easily qualified for 1st.
And now he has left the 7-pin on the left lane.
The line of Mike Edwards on the left-hand lane. The track or worn area between the 2nd and 3rd arrows. Ball doesn't quite finish. The head pin goes to sideboard, knocks out the 4-5, but misses a 7. A conversion here, he'll trail by 2 pins.
Mike Edwards, who began bowling at age 5 and took some time off to play football in the 7th and 8th grades, came back, and after Las Vegas, where he didn't do as well as he wanted to, went home and practiced for 3 days. Mike Durbin, now with a strike in the 2nd, can lead by 12, shooting in the 3rd frame. So easy, so classic. Tomorrow's the big day.
Durbin to take a 22-pin lead, 4th frame.
Just tightens those screw frames, leading by 20. And Mike Edwards, the tournament leader, finally gets his first strike, coming in the 4th frame after 3 spares. And if
A knee injury, the doctor told him if he would play any more and re-injure it, he would be crippled. And he said he had potential for a college scholarship. He was surely disappointed. He was a tremendous man in the weight room. He used to bench press when he 350 pounds at the age of 16, a strong kid.
And that one didn't come up either. 2-5 for the 23-year-old.
Sends the ball wide, hopes to snap back and carry that light hit. Doesn't happen. He leaves the 2-5, has to guard against the chop. There it is, the head pin to the sideboard. Knocks out the 4 and leaves the 2-5. A must spare for Mike Edwards.
And here you're looking at Mike's parents. Jim, his dad on the left, and Jeannie on the right. Chickasaw and Cherokee, the heritage for Mr. Edwards, and Choctaw and Cherokee for Mrs. Edwards, a graduate of Haskell Indian Junior College. Fine school where I'm proud to say I'm on the board of trustees of the foundation.
And his father is an electrical engineer. And here's an engineer on the lanes today. Mike Durbin, great champion, has a chance to extend to a 32-pin lead. Hand side of your screen. Now watch it disappear to the left and come back between the 4 and 7. There it goes, off the sideboard, knocks out the 7, doesn't quite get the 4. Durbin with the spare will lead by 21 through 5 frames.
Championship match. $41,000 here in this one game at Jeannie Halsey Boyd's Forum.
For Mike Durbin, $27,000 first, $14,000 second, $13,000 difference between first and second. For Mike Edwards, our tournament leader, much more, Chris. He would qualify for the Firestone Tournament of Champions, and that would give him a chance to win another $40,000. Durbin already eligible. He is the defending champion.
It's quite a picture of Mike Edwards. This is Mike Durbin. Another 4.
Speaking of the Firestone, Chris, the way to qualify for the Firestone is any 10-time PBA champion, national champion, who maintains a 50% tournament participation, and any player who is a Touring 1 pro. That means bowling 66% of the tournaments and wins the title within 12 calendar months of the Firestone. That's how you fill out the field. Steve Fair is the last man in the Firestone right.
There's one, and for Mike Edwards, midpoint as we look at Jeannie Halsey Boyd. Bride this year, husband Roger. What a hostess for all the bowlers and for all of ABC here.
Edwards, key frame. He hasn't struck on the left-hand lane yet. If he can strike here, he can cut Durbin's lead down to just 10 pins. A big shot. Oh, he threw it high.
But he gets a break. The great champion that he is bounces right back there with a strike in the 7th frame. Like, young man, don't get cocky.
When Guppy Troop won the Quaker State a few years back, he had a 95% carry rate. And I mean that, Chris, when he hit the 1-3 pocket, he carried 95% of the time. In the 4 matches so far, I think Durbin is 100%. I don't remember him losing any hit except that swishing 7 pins. So that's the only time that he's hit the pocket and not come away with a strike. And that is unusual.
Well, averted the split, leaving the 6 pin on the right.
More important, when you can throw the ball right through the heart of the pins and not come away with a 4-6 split and maintain your lead. Look at this, right through the heart. Durbin would have given Edwards a big break there, but he ends up with a simple spare. But Edwards now has a chance to take the lead in this match.
So now 23-year-old Mike Edwards releasing of a 16-pound ball. Wear and tear on that right hand.
It all comes down to 3 frames. Edwards with a strike here would make the match all even.
Well, Bo, it's great to see him react as he does. You can recall not too long ago when it was very difficult for him to say hello even. He's just gained confidence with each week out here on the road.
2 frames left, Chris, worth more than $14,000 a frame. He'd get $27,000 if he can win this, plus he's eligible for the Firestone. You can't make less than $2,000 there. Here's for the lead.
And really one of the role models for all the Native Americans. Mike Edwards is so proud that they're a league in California when he bowled in Torrance. 28 teams, and they all came out to see him and cheer for him there. He's had 3rd and 4th finishes when he's been on TV, but he's looking for his first big win. This man is looking for his 14th title.
But he trails by 10 pins. He has not trailed all day long. At one time, he had a 22-pin lead just 4 frames ago.
Oh, Mike Durbin. Foundation frame strike here in our final match. 27 to the winner, 14 to the runner-up. Always hate to say loser, Bo, because you really...
Well, there's a difference between losing and getting beat, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
If Mike Edwards wins this, he'll have beat Durbin. Durbin doesn't lose, and the same can be said for Mike Edwards. He is not a loser out there. He may get beaten in this match. Right now, we have a potential all-even match. If Durbin can strike, he trails by 10 pins. Once again, right through the heart. And gets an easy spare to shoot at. The situation is set up for the young tournament leader, your guy, Mike Edwards. If he marks in the 10th frame, he'll have won his first championship. He checks the scoreboard.
All right. Tense moments here for the capacity crowd. And for Debbie Durbin, who is watching, and Mike's 3 children, Mike Jr., Matthew, and Christine. Mike Edwards' parents here, and his sponsor, his grandfather, watching back in Tulsa. for a three-time winner today, 3 games, Mike Durbin. Now, with 4 in a row, shooting in the 10th frame, a non-winner on the PBA Tour.
He needs a mark of any type. If he strikes on this ball or spares in the 10th, look at him talking to himself. He needs a mark to win. He's there. Chris, of all the years I've sat here, I've never seen a break that bad. He left a solid 4-9 split on an apparent good hit. Watch the pin action. His sharp breaking ball cuts right through the heart. The 2-pin does not take out the 7. He must make this to win. If he doesn't make it, Durbin is the winner. Unbelievable.
Like 2 big teepees down there. Gosh.
Oh! Durbin's the winner.
Durbin is the winner. Mike Durbin has won the $27,000 first prize when he was trailing and the man that was shooting on open frame. 27,000, 14th PBA title, winning it on the most unfortunate break in bowling that we've ever seen. Mike Edwards leaving a 4-9 after in the lead. Durbin getting the check and trophy from Quentin Wood, chairman of the board, Quaker State. Stay tuned next for ABC.